We're back to another week of our pantry staples. Now today we're going to do 3 recipes because tomorrow it's all about convenience in a jar. Macaroni and cheese is one of them, but that'll be tomorrow. So since we're getting to the second week in November and we're making our gift baskets at the end of the month, I'm going to try to compress as many recipes as I can this week and next week, so it can ensure that we've gone through the entire little black book, if I'm doing my math right. So you guys will have all of the recipes that I use from my little recipe book. So today is 3. One of them was actually not on the list until our good friend Miss Mary Ann reached out in email because I had been making comments. I cannot perfect cream of shrimp soup. And I use a lot of it, guys. I love it, especially in the winter. I like to put it in my etouffees. I make a shrimp and rice casserole, crawfish and rice casserole. You can make it using the base as a semi-fettuccine to get that good richness. But we're trying to get away from the cream of soups in a can. Well, Miss Mary Ann saved me. She was like, did you know that Knorr actually has shrimp bouillon? I said, you hush. So I immediately went online, Walmart, and although I thought it was the larger jar, it's not. But since I'm not using this as often as I would the cream of shrimp, not cream of shrimp, the cream of chicken. We did the cream of mushroom and the cream of celery. Those I use a lot of. That's why I like the recipe that I have concocted or formulated to meet our flavor. But I went ahead and I made a small batch the other day to test it, to write out a recipe. And guys, this is cream of shrimp soup. It's just not in a can. Now, you got a few little preservatives. But hey, I'll take this little bit over 1, what's in the cans, and 2, a can of cream of shrimp from Campbell's is $2.60. I don't think so. So let's do the cream of shrimp real quick before we move to the country white gravy many of you asked for, and we're going to do an Italian dressing. So we have 2 gravies, 1 dressing. We're going to smush it all together in this video. I'm just using a quart jar, and I'm actually going to blend everything in this and give it a good shake, and we're ready to go. Cream of shrimp soup. And I like a wide mouth because it's just easier to scoop out. But in here, I went ahead and measured out 2 cups of powdered milk. I like just whole powdered milk, but you can use the 2%. But there is 2 cups of powdered milk in this quart jar. Cornstarch. We're going to need 3/4 of a cup of cornstarch. We're going to need 1/4 cup of our shrimp bouillon. And I will leave the recipes down in the description, and I will check my own writing because sometimes this autocorrect tries to correct what I'm saying, tries to get a memory. 1/4 cup. 1 teaspoon dried parsley. 1/2 tablespoon of dried minced onion. We need 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, just like that. 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano. Ooh, I gotta go fill my container up. 1/4 teaspoon dried thyme. We need 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And you see, we didn't add any salt. That's because that bouillon's got plenty. And we're just gonna get this mixed up very well. Y'all, I almost forgot the most important ingredient. That's my Cajun seasoning swamp mix. I was like, something's missing. It was sitting over here. So your choice of Cajun seasoning. This is on the lower sodium side, but you're gonna need a teaspoon. I kept looking going, the color's different. Yeah, I forgot my own seasoning. So a teaspoon, oh, I'm gonna have to refill my shaker. There we go. Okay, we're back in business, guys. Now, because I don't have anything this week to use cream of shrimp soup with, I won't be cooking it on the stove like we did the other cream of anything soups. But what you'll need, because this is a little bit different, which I recommend on the other ones, and I think I added that in the description. Take your 1/3 cup to 1 tablespoon of butter to 2, little extra butter never hurt anyone. And you want to cook it on a medium to low heat. Don't burn that flour, but you want to cook it for a minute. Then add you a cup of water, a cup of shrimp stock, a cup of chicken stock, and cook it maybe another minute till it thickens, and there's your cream of soup, cream of shrimp soup. So that's how I do it. But that just really adds a real richness to this soup. But like I said, the cream of chicken, the cream of mushroom, and the cream of celery, if you want to really ramp up those flavors, just add you a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of butter with your 1/3 cup mix. Cook it just like you would do a roux for 1 minute, and then add your 1 cup of liquid. But guys, Miss Mary Ann made me the happiest lady. And you see there's not many ingredients in here. There's none of that junk. And some of you that are familiar with cream of shrimp, you know the cost that's in there. You know what they package it with. And this was 4 something for this jar. But guys, I didn't put a dent in it. And I just opened it and put a little bit in my coffee. I'm gonna have to start back over. I mean, I love coffee. I love shrimp. But I don't know if I want them together. Fresh cup of coffee, no shrimp bouillon. I wiped the counter because I was like, something's off. I didn't put my towel down, so I had to wash the counter. We got a towel down because y'all know I tend to make a little mess, but a good cook can be a messy cook. But now we're gonna move to the country white gravy that many of you asked for a recipe. Well, here it is. And remember, all the recipes will be in the description, and you can cut it in half, cut it by force, test it to see if it's something that you like. We're gonna start off with 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Now I'm just gonna whisk it a little bit just to smooth it out. We're gonna need 1.5 cups of powdered milk. You can even do the 2%. Combine this well, make sure there's no lumps. Onion powder, we need 3 tablespoons. And you're thinking onion powder? Yes. 3 tablespoons of black pepper. Now I like a lot of black pepper. You'll have to adjust it to your flavor. A little bit lagniappe means a little something extra. Salt. Guys, it's got to have some salt. Now, don't freak out when you see that I'm gonna add 1.5 tablespoons. I may add a little bit more when I'm cooking it. But with this volume, you need 1.5 tablespoons of salt. We need 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. Now, while I'm mixing this before I put it in my jar, to use this, you're gonna need 1/4 cup of mix to 1 cup of milk. That's gonna make it really thick. You can use the 1 cup water. I just use 1 cup of milk, And it's going to be thick, and then you can add a little water to get it to the consistency that you like. But we like it especially on our biscuits, but with sausage, like a breakfast sausage, breakfast patty. And I will literally take 1 or 2 of the breakfast patties after I cook them and the residual fat that's in the skillet, and I will crumble 1 to 2 patties up. And then I will add our gravy mix to that. Now you have a sausage gravy. You've got that residual little bit of fat, maybe a teaspoon. More than that, I, probably drain some of it. That's gonna give you that sausage gravy. But we also use this over chicken fried steak. But if we normally use it, we turn it into a sausage gravy. We have our country gravy in our half-gallon jug. And I've got it marked. But this is so good. Very inexpensive when you compare it to those gravy packs. There again, with all the junk. Now we're gonna move to Italian dressing, which is totally around the world from our 2 soups. But we're trying to combine all these recipes, and our window is shrinking on us. Now, oregano is going to be your key ingredient to your Italian dressing mix. I just looked. That's all the oregano I have. So I'm going to take my own recipe and I'm going to cut it in half strictly for the video. Boy, I tell you what, I can't believe, but that's okay. I use a lot of oregano. So we're going to cut it in half. So that means I'm gonna need 1/4 of a cup. Look, guys, can you believe? I mean, the stars lined up for Lippy. Okay, and I buy my oregano in bulk. And I usually get it at Sam's most of the time. So there's 1/4 cup. The recipe would be 1/2 cup, or you can bulk it in volume. So we got lucky there, guys. I'm gonna need 1 tablespoon of garlic salt. The full recipe would have been 2 tablespoons. Now, because this is sugar, I don't want to use these measuring spoons, but we need sugar. And I'm gonna use 1 tablespoon instead of 2. I need 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of dried parsley, and yes, I'm heavy-handed on the parsley. Lemon pepper, I need 1 teaspoon. Italian seasoning, I need 1/2 teaspoon. Ground mustard, I need 1 teaspoon. And guys, I do believe this is the key to this dressing. Isn't that a pitiful jar? But at least you get the recipe. Only this is half. So I'm gonna give it a good shimmy shake, and I'm just gonna put it in the pantry, and then I'll have Mr. Buddy go by and pick me up a container of oregano at Sam's. Actually, he's going to Sam's today for us. But anyhow, the way I use this is 1/2 cup of oil. I actually prefer avocado oil. You can use olive oil. I wouldn't use like a neutral vegetable. That's just me. You want to get the benefits from your oil. So avocado or olive oil, because it is a dressing, you're going to want 1/2 cup. Then you want 1/2 cup of vinegar. I like just plain white vinegar. I have used champagne vinegar, but it's equal parts, 1/2 oil, 1/2 vinegar, and 2 tablespoons of this mix. So you see, by filling this up, this will last you a while. And you want to really, really whisk it. You want to put it in a jar, shake it. You want to really combine it all. And that is your dressing. So you'll still yield a cup of dressing just by using the 2 tablespoons. So this will last you a long time. And the dressing will keep in your fridge up to 2 weeks. There again, cutting out the Italian dressing in the bottle, Or a lot of you are familiar with the packets of Italian dressing. I was buying it for a long time because I absolutely love it, even in just the dry form as a seasoning base, till I got to looking at the ingredients. And I was like, I got to come up with something. And let's just say I had a lot of flops. But this combination, to me, reminds me of that packet brand. At least I didn't get nothing in my coffee. Nope, it's just straight coffee. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's recipes. Like I said, we went from a cream to a dressing. But we got a lot more recipes to do. But as always, stay safe, stay well, and God bless. And I will see you guys on the next one, which is tomorrow.